Cherry is a fruit that any farmer can choose to grow, and there are two types of cherry, that is the sweet cherry and the sour cherry, and this is what we call cherry. Welcome to this channel as we look at the requirements for growing cherry. So to begin with is where we look at the site selection and soil preparation, and this is what you need to know about the sunlight. Cherry need full sun, though some varieties can tolerate a partial shade. So once you choose a location that you will be planting your cherry, make sure it is a place that can receive some partial shade and it can also receive sunlight. To the soil, a cherry require well-drained fertile soil that is slightly acidic. By slightly acidic, I mean the soil should have a pH of 6.5 to 6.7. That is the pH that cherry do well in. And if you're facing some challenges with your soil drainage, remember you can always use a compost or organic matter to improve on your soil drainage and also to improve on your soil fertility. Now to the next part is to avoid frost pockets. This is what you need to take note of. Choose a sheltered spot to protect early blooming flowers from frost and damage. That is why I told you, make sure the place that you choose to grow your cherry has some is receiving some sun and it is also receiving some partial shade. So the partial shade will help to protect early blooming flowers from frost damage. To the soil preparation, this is what you need to know about soil preparation. Plow the soil to a depth of 12 to 16 inches. So which method can you use to plow your soil? You can either use the tractors or the digging holes, and we plow the soil so that we can improve drainage and root establishment. Once you have plowed your soil, you will increase the soil drainage and the root establishment of your cherry. Therefore, it is an important aspect that you should consider as a farmer. To the next part is whereby we look at selecting and planting. What are the requirements when you'll be selecting and planting your cherry? This is what you need to check. That is, first is the variety. Choose a cherry variety suitable to your climate and desired fruit characteristics. What are the climates that you are experiencing in your location that you have selected to plant your cherry? I've told you there are two types of cherries that you can plant, that is the sour or the sweet cherry. So look at the climatic conditions of the region that you are in and make an appropriate decision in order to know which type of cherry you will be planting. Okay, also use at the desired fruit characteristics. Do you want a sweet one or do you want a sour one? Which is your characteristic of selection? And now you can plant appropriately after you have selected the characteristic. The next thing is grafting. Grafting, especially onto disease-resistant rootstock, is really important because this is a reliable method for propagating cherry trees. To the planting now process, this is what you need to do or to know. Dig a hole twice as wide and just as deep as the root ball. The root ball will help you know the depth that you will be digging your hole. Gently loosen the roots and place the tree in the hole. Backfill with soil and water thoroughly. After you have dug that hole, depending on the root ball, the next thing you need to do is to gently loosen the roots. After loosening your root, you place the tree in the hole, and after you place the tree in the hole is when now you backfill the hole that you had dug with soil, and then you can water. To the ongoing care after you have planted that cherry tree, what else do you need to know, or what are the aftercare that you need to take care of? Is the watering. Water regularly, especially during the first year and during dry spells. 1 year after you have planted your cherry tree, please ensure that you water regularly. And after you water it regularly, most especially during the dry season or the dry periods, is when you need to water regularly. To the part of mulching, this is what you need to know. You apply mulch around the base of the tree to retain moisture. Ensure you always mulch, because once you mulch, you will retain the moisture in your soil. Fertilizing, this is what you need to know. Fertilize in the early spring with a balanced fertilizer or a fruit tree specific formula. Fertilize again after each harvest. After you harvest, make sure you fertilize. Fertilize in early spring with a balanced fertilizer. During the early spring, you fertilize with a balanced fertilizer, and during each and every harvest, you also fertilize with a fruit tree specific of formula. To the pest and diseases control, beware of potential pest problems, especially with increased humidity, and take up preventive measures. You Increased humidity can bring about some pests and some diseases, so be observant and take the necessary preventive measures. Pruning, prune your cherry tree and maintain its shape to encourage fruit production. Ensure you always prune your tree in order to have that fruit production that you require. Birds protection, birds love cherry, so use netting when the fruits begin to ripen to deter birds. Use netting once the cherry begin to ripen in order to deter birds. I think this is an easy tree or an easy fruit that we can plant as farmers, and we know the demand for cherry in the market is quite high. And now with that, we have come to the end of the vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so that each and every time I'll be uploading, you will be notified. Bye bye.